The 2015 Women's Flat Track Derby Association Division II playoffs are kicking off right here at Public Auditorium in Cleveland, Ohio. And TV 20 has the inside scoop to all the action. There's nothing quite like a live roller derby tournament. The tantalizing goods at the vendor tables, the rumble and squeak of the wheels on the track, and the electrifying roar of a cheering crowd. Energy and emotions are alive throughout the venue as games are anticipated, victories celebrated, and losses despaired. While old friendships are rekindled and new rivalries sparked, the Derby community ignites passion, celebrates power, and strengthens bonds.
We are here at the Division II playoffs for the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. These are some of the best teams in Division II competing in this playoff. The top 3 teams from this playoff go to our championship, where they will compete for the best of the division. The Women's Flat Track Derby Association provides rankings for our member leagues, so they have to compete throughout the year to be ranked. And then the top teams, the teams ranked the best in their division, are placed into brackets and then placed into these tournaments.
Regardless if you're a skater, photographer, or just a casual fan, the WFTDA playoffs are definitely something you should experience at least once in your life.
So far today, the games have been within like 5 points. You know, like they're super close games. Some of the predictions, like Kansas City, who's playing right now, the Kansas City Roller Warriors, they have competed in the last 10 playoffs that the WFTDA has put on. So they're veterans of this, right? And, you know, the way that they're performing today, I think they're going to take it all the way. Yeah, they're at 110 points right now at halftime, right? So, like, this is their game. I think this is going to be their weekend. They're playing St. Chuck's right now, and St. Chuck's beat Brandywine earlier today, and Brandywine was seed 10, St. Chuck's is seed 7. So, there's another team right there, St. Chuck's, who you can really, count on to come through. So it is an elimination bracket. So as soon as people lose a game, they move on to the lower end of the bracket, the loser bracket, where they still compete, but they compete for the lower end of the bracket from 4th to 10th place.
So if you're sitting there and asking yourself, what made these women want to go out and participate in a very physical sport like roller derby, here's an answer from some of the sport's most competitive participants.
So I've been skating for 6 seasons myself. I actually just kind of found out about it on my own. I think back 10, 11 years ago, all of the media was kind of covering it. So it's probably in Rolling Stone or Spin Magazine or something like that. I was reading about it. I thought it was a great sport. I've always been pretty athletic myself, love to skate. So when I realized I could hit people, I wanted to get involved.
Talking about hitting people, this is actually a very contact sport. I mean, you girls can get hurt. I mean, it's very contact. I've seen a lot of big hits out there. Just talk about, competing and staying in the best shape you can to be able to compete at the highest level.
It's very important for us to do a lot of, number one, staying on your skates. So learning how to hit properly, learning how to fall properly so you don't get injured. A lot of the leagues are doing a lot more cross training too. You'll see a lot of the girls who have gotten into CrossFit. I actually have a personal trainer who played football for Indiana. So, a lot of us are really trying to make sure that we're in the top shape and just taking care of our bodies. We eat right. We're trying to make sure that just like any other sport, we have to stay in good shape. It is a legitimate sport. It's something we need to be prepared for.
This is my 5th season. I'll complete 5 years in January. And I ran into an old friend of mine who was playing with the Victory Dolls, and she's like, you gotta come see us. And she was like, you would be so great. I kind of have an athletic build, so she thought I'd be really great. And I came out, watched the game, I was pretty much sold, and I thought it was really awesome. And the next new recruit class, I joined, and it's and I've loved it ever since. Just the energy and the competition, it's great, I love it.
Roller derby is a very competitive sport, and qualifying for these playoffs are very important to these athletes. Talk about your team, Oklahoma, and going through this season and the progression you guys made to making it here to the tournament.
Yes, the beginning of the Oklahoma Victory Dolls season was a little rough. We lost 8 starting skaters, like skaters we would always have start on our roster. So we had a lot of, we had transfers, we had a lot of skaters retire, we've had injuries. And we played, early on in the year, we played at a tournament called Clover Cup and didn't do, I mean, we fared kind of all right, but after Clover Cup, we made a few adjustments to our lineup, and we, zoned in on a few specific players who were out there a little bit more, and they just gelled and it exploded, and those players have just done so well and really picked up the pace for Oklahoma Victory Dolls for the rest of the season, and really, I think that's largely in part what brought us here.
So talk about your the competition level here at this tournament, and how do you think your team will fare against some of these great teams here?
The competition, it's very high, but we have been to Division I playoffs the past 2 years, so it's kind of nice to be like, oh, we don't have to play Gotham. Like our first playoff we ever went to, we won our first game, and then we had to play Gotham our second game, so it's kind of nice that there's not any of those, there's not too many big tycoons here this weekend. It's people who are at our level. I think with the D1, there's just such a drastic difference between the top 3 teams and then the rest of the top 20. But in D2, I mean, the competition's still high, but it's definitely more our pace, and I think we can fare pretty well this weekend.
Talk about how good it feels just to be a part of this 10-year anniversary and also to be in the playoffs 10 years in a row.
Yeah, we've been in the playoffs for the past 10 years at some level. We took the championship game in 2007, and then we've pretty much been in the either championships, divisional tournaments, or the playoffs like this for the past 10 years. And again, to be that kind of role model, we have people looking at us from all over the country, all over the world, really. And it's something that we take very seriously, and so it's something that we really look forward to every year we train. This is what we train all year long for. So we love it. We love being part of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association and really just trying to make the sport continue to evolve.
All right, and as we walked in, we seen you guys out there competing, and you just won that match. Just talk about the competition level of this tournament.
This is the best of the best, really. This is the divisional tournament, so there are teams that compete at an even higher level than we're at right now. But I think it says a lot for the sport. I mean, you look out there, it's like almost watching football or rugby or lacrosse, something like that. We're trying to make the sport evolve. We're trying to take it to the next level, and so it's pretty hardcore.
Hosting the 2015 Women's Flat Track Derby Association Division II playoffs is such a great look for the city of Cleveland. This is just an example of how diverse the city is and how residents of Cleveland are open to supporting different sporting events. Could you just start off by talking about the selection and bidding process to host this Division II playoff tournament?
Sure. A bid is usually put in by one of our member leagues. So Burning River Roller Derby is one of our member leagues. They've been around for 9 years. So they're not a founding member, but they came on right after WFTDA started. And so they were interested in putting on this event. They were interested in bringing this event to Cleveland and basically showing it off to all of our members worldwide. So that was the first step, is that Burning River wanted to do it. And then they worked with the local sports commission to help find us a venue and put together some other information to make us choose Cleveland. So Burning River, we chose them as a host. And then we had to find a venue. And so we were looking around at different places. There's a couple of different options here. And then when we came into the public auditorium, public hall, it's just, I don't know if any of your viewers have been here, but you walk in that front lobby and it's just amazing. The lighting in here is perfect for what we want in here. There's plenty of space for vendors. It's awesome floor. Usually we're rolling on concrete or sport court, and to get like an old school, roller rink-esque wood floor is amazing. And everybody was a little bit leery at first coming in and knowing that it was a wood floor, and we've had no complaints. It's amazing. They're in awe of the floor, they're in awe of the building. Everyone in Cleveland has been super amazing.
We really wanted to show off Cleveland to the roller derby world. I have people telling us how great it is to be in Cleveland and how excited they are and how much cooler Cleveland is than they thought it was going to be. And that's really exciting to show these people that this is what Cleveland is about and this is what roller derby in Cleveland is. Our primary goal was to bring this tournament to downtown Cleveland. You can't host a tournament like this somewhere that's not downtown. We wanted to be in downtown Cleveland. When we walked into this venue, our breath was taken away. The floor is beautiful. It's a little bit different than a lot of teams are used to, but it's a gorgeous place. And the sports commission was very helpful in helping us, find this place, set up appointments to see it. And, it's really been a great partnership to help work with them. They put us in contact with some people about sponsorship as well, and that's been very important to us.
Modern roller derby is an international sport dominated by all-female amateur teams and is under consideration for the 2020 Summer Olympics.
Well, I think there are a lot of hopes for what the sport will be. I know there are a lot of aspirations that maybe it'll become an Olympic sport. The Women's Flat Track Derby Association is sort of its own entity, and we're also kind of for the skater, by the skater, and so everybody within the leagues, they own it. We pay into the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, and so I think we just want to continue to kind of evolve that and take it to a new level, continue to push the sport. I'm sure you've heard now that we're going to be streaming on ESPN3. I think that's an exciting step forward. We're getting a lot more coverage in mainstream sports, and I think that's really what it comes down to is we want to be taken seriously. We're not out there. It's not the old school derby. It's modern day. We're hoping people will view it like a legitimate sport, like a football or something like that.
This Division II playoff weekend wouldn't be possible without the tremendous amount of support and time the host team, Burning River Roller Derby, has put in.
Burning River Roller Derby has been around since 2006. We are about to enter our 10th season. We will celebrate with our 10th Black and Blue in November 21st at Ohio Sports Net in Parma. Ohio Net Sport.
Ohio Net Sports Complex, that's it.
In Parma. We have played at Division II playoffs in 2013. Our goal this year was to get back to those playoffs, and we wanted to play in the city where we were hosting. We fell about 9 spots short, but our goal is next year is to really push our league and our travel team to the playoff tournament.
All right, so if people are interested in checking out the Burning River Roller Derby, how can they do that?
They can check out our Facebook page. We're updating it regularly. We also have a website, which is burningriverrollerderby.com. It's being developed right now. It's going to be fantastic. Any information you can want on the league will be on those 2 spots.
Do you have any upcoming dates of events or anything like that?
Absolutely, we do. Actually, right here. Starting on October 3rd, we have exhibition-style bouts this fall. They can be found at Ohio Net Sports Complex. All the tickets are available online or at the door. You guys just show up and have a good time and come watch some roller derby.
They had a great time here learning more about roller derby at the 2015 International Women's Flat Track Derby Association Division II playoffs. But hey, it's time for me to suit up because I'm going to go ahead and get on the track.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
And to follow the swimming rules.
You're always looking out for me and trying to keep me safe.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
Here in the garage.
Closet.
Shuttle box under the bed. Where anyone can get to it. How safe is that?
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. If you own a firearm and are not using it, please be responsible and be sure that it's stored in a safe place. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org.
Turning in guns and saving lives. That's the motto for today's 9th annual City of Cleveland handgun buyback. Just one gun can make a difference. With cars pulling up back to back, you'd think you were at a lube stop for a quick oil change. But these drivers are here to turn over their unwanted guns.
Christian, today we're holding as you said, our 9th annual gun buyback. We provide incentives for people to turn in handguns. We're soliciting the people who have handguns that they don't want, that they may not know what to do with, or they're unable to properly secure and have concerns about those weapons. If that's the case, we're offering incentives. For example, for a handgun, we're providing a $100 gift card. Gift cards are either for Dave's supermarkets or for Shell gas stations. For semi-automatic rifles, no shotguns, but semi-automatic rifles, we're providing a $200 voucher. As well as some of our sponsors were kind enough to donate some vouchers for tickets for Lake Erie Monsters as well as the Cleveland Gladiators Indoor Football League.
Okay, so talk about the importance of this gun buyback for our city, you know, with certain things that's going on in the community. Talk about how big this is for the city of Cleveland.
Well, again, with unwanted weapons and unsecured weapons, we have horrific accidents with children getting a hold of weapons, with burglaries, individuals are stealing weapons, or people just taking weapons out of homes. If we can keep the weapons off the street, it'll help reduce the violence in the city of Cleveland.
Looking at some of these sponsors, you guys have a lot of sponsors, a big Cleveland influence with the different teams, stores and things like that. Talk about making those partnerships to make this as big as possible.
Well, of course, our biggest partner is the Cleveland Police Foundation, and the Cleveland Police Foundation does a lot across the city. This is one of the things that they do, the gun buyback, but they reach out to different organizations, different businesses in the city to help partner with the Cleveland Police Department. As you can see here, we've got Ganley Auto Group. ArcelorMittal is one of our hugest contributors. ArcelorMittal is also the company who will melt the weapons down at the end of the gun buyback. Forest City, some of the sports teams in the city. It's a community effort. Businesses are part of that community, and the Cleveland Police Foundation helps facilitate that interaction between the police and those businesses.
With this being the 9th annual handgun buyback, talk about the progression of this event over the years.
I've been around for 2 of them. I knew about them, but I didn't know the amount of work and detail that went into them, and also how important it was to the community. Throughout the course of the year, I get people calling asking, hey, when's the gun buyback going to be? Or, we found a weapon, or we got a weapon we want to get rid of. The community is aware of it, they know about it, and they anticipate the gun buyback every year.
So what do you think is, I would say, a big draw for the actual community to come out and take part in this?
Well, for some, there's the incentives. Quite frankly, the incentives, the fact that, hey, you know what, I can, $100 worth of groceries or $100 worth of gas is significant. For others, the fact that, hey, I can remove what I perceive as a threat or something unwanted from my home or from my person and provide it somewhere where I know it'll be safely handled and won't be creating any damage or harm to anyone.
And reducing the crime and violence is what residents of Cleveland are hoping this annual gun buyback will do.
It wasn't guns that I turned in today. It was my son had BB guns that looked like real guns. And I was concerned about, you know, the youth running around here playing with these BB guns, and they look so real, you know, that I thought it was very important that I get them out of the house, get them away from him, and take them down here to these guys and let them destroy them. That way I feel better, more comfortable about him, you know, not worrying about if he has that BB gun, taking it outside, playing with it like it's a gun. You know, I mean, they look so real these days, you know.
All right. How big do you think it is for the city of Cleveland to be doing an event like this?
It's awesome. I think it's great, man. I really think it's great. I think it's going to bring crime down. I think it's going to benefit a lot of people, especially the police officers too.
Right. And before you pulled off, I kind of noticed that you said you really didn't want anything in return for the guns.
No, sir.
Just trying to help out.
Yes, sir. I didn't want anything in return. Just knowing that I got rid of something dangerous that could have affected my children, it could have hurt my son, and knowing that was gone out of my house, away from him, That's no money can give you that peace.
Well, I think it'll help get a lot of these guns off the street, illegal guns especially, you know what I'm saying? But I just had the gun there, been laying around for years, never used it, so hey, $100 worth of gas is $100, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So, just talk about, with all the recent things that's happened in the city of Cleveland with gun violence. Just talk about why do you think this is so important for us?
Because, like I said, they get the guns off the street, and some of them off the street. You know, I doubt if a lot of criminals ain't gonna turn them in no way. But it's so much violence, man. It makes me sick, you know. And if this can help clear some of it up, I think it's a good thing.
Oh, this is a great thing. It's one of the best things in the world. People get rid of guns laying around their house. You know, they have it. They use. If you're familiar with a gun, fine. But if you're not, and you have a gun laying around your house, and you got teenagers, you're more or less asking for a problem. They find that gun and they're going to take it out. So I suggest people, if you got a gun and you're not using it for yourself, for your own protection, and you don't know anything about it, get rid of it. Because all it do is it's going to bite you on the butt down the road, you know. So this is a good thing. You got great guys here doing this, and this has probably saved a lot of lives.
1 in 3 people in the U.S. know someone who has been shot. And on average, 31 Americans are murdered with guns every day, and 151 are treated for a gun assault in an emergency room. Removing guns from the streets will benefit the city and its residents. But what measures a successful gun buyback event?
Right now, we've been out here, like you said, about an hour, and we've already got over 80 weapons, several rifles, a couple of high-profile or high-caliber weapons. Someone turned in an AK-47, which is a pretty dangerous weapon in the wrong hands. So I would deem it successful. If we get one gun off the street that someone doesn't want, one gun out of a home that someone doesn't want safely, then it's a success. So right now, I would consider this a successful day. If you didn't make the gun buyback today and you have a weapon you want to get rid of, contact the Cleveland Police, 623-5000. The dispatchers will put you in contact with your neighborhood district, and the neighborhood commander or someone from the Detective Bureau will advise you and point you in direction on how to get rid of that weapon.
The 2015 City of Cleveland handgun buyback was a huge success. Removing these guns off the streets will save numerous lives. At the 3rd District Police Station, I'm Patterson for TV 20. We are Cleveland.